Imagine you're in a disaster and you post this message to your social media. Then you post this image. Then almost immediately, friends and family start saying, "Get out of there. It looks like the water's coming for you." Well, I'm Carrie Stevens from the University of Texas at Austin, and today I'm presenting on behalf of my team how people can make their risk visible by using images. So our team studied Hurricane Harvey, and one of the things about this disaster is there were a lot of pictures that were posted on social media. Well, early on, the pictures looked like this, and then there's sewage. And what ends up happening in pictures like this is you become very aware that it would have been a lot better if people had evacuated before the water looked like this, because this is what they walked through. People were also being evacuated 24 hours a day because sometimes they wouldn't realize they needed to be rescued until then. And some people posted calls for help on social media. But you know what? Not everyone seemed to know that they were at risk. And this led us to ask this research question concerning how does the posting of these images on social media during the flood inform people's understanding of their own risk? Now, to accomplish this research question, brief overview of the project. In this particular study, we looked at 25 interviews with people who had been rescued. We had conducted photo elicitation interviews, which means that you interview people and you ask them to narrate their story by showing you images. And it's through this process that we were able to really understand how people came to understand their own risk. We also analyzed our data using a constant comparative analysis. So our team has already published a couple of different ways that people make their risk visible. And I want to go through those first. First of all, if you post an image on social media, essentially what you're able to do is amplify the fact that you're at risk by making that visible. You can also show whether or not you have any connections, maybe to a community. That also amplifies your risk. Now, some people, maybe their cell phone battery dies, especially in a disaster, and they're not able to post on social media, or maybe they don't know how, or they don't have social media accounts. So they ask friends and family to act as proxies, and those proxies post images and their messages, and they amplify their risk. So ultimately what happens is some people are aware of their needs. They post images to get rescued. Other people can't necessarily post images, so they invoke these proxies to amplify their messages. But then we have these people that post messages like this. This is what I see out my apartment balcony. Look at the water. I've never seen the water this close to my home. It's interesting because they're not saying that they see any risk, but what happens is their friends and family end up convincing them that they're at risk. And it seems to be that when there are images of water, especially over time, that are moving closer to people, that seems to evoke this get out of their response from friends and family. So risks can be socially constructed is what we have concluded. And it's through these conversations that many people talk about these turning points. They're like, well, here's a picture, here's a picture. Oh my gosh, I realized right then I needed to get out. And when they recount these stories, they're often embarrassed about the fact that they didn't realize that they were at risk earlier. And so the key takeaways of our study are, posting these images really can make a big difference. It can amplify your needs for rescue. But the next time that you see someone post an image and you're secretly thinking, wow, that looks dangerous, you might want to ask questions and verify that they're actually aware that they're at risk. I'd like to thank my colleagues. This was a National Science Foundation funded research, and invite you all to please look for our publications on this project. And we look forward to continuing this work and seeing if we can learn more about risk perceptions and disasters. Thank you so much.